Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? And welcome once again to the UnLearnT podcast. I am your host, Ruth Abigail, aka RA.
What's up, friends? It's your girl, Jaquita.
And this is indeed the podcast that is helping you gain the courage to change your mind so that you, yes, you can experience more freedom.
Freedom.
Yes.
Yes.
And we try to get free out here today.
Man, what you said.
Trying to get free out here today.
Living it up in these freedom streets.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, middle adult does not feel like freedom a lot of times. Let's just be real. Let's just cut straight to the chase. Let's get right into it. You know, middle adulthood is not giving the levels of freedom that I thought it was. Like, it is like, hey, settle in, my child. You got things to do. That's what middle adulthood feels like. Yeah, it feels like a never-ending list.
It doesn't. The freedom has to be fought for. You know, you have to fight for it. You know what I'm saying? Much like our ancestors. So, you know, it's true. You know,
Ruth Abigail, please, you are not gonna relate a middle adulthood to slavery and Jim Crow. Like, what?
I didn't. You implied that. I said you fight for freedom. Look, listen, we are freedom fighters, okay? And so I'm just saying we have the ability to fight for it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's in us. You understand?
We're gonna get canceled. Anywho. Okay, because you tripping out here in these streets.
Hey, look, I'm
Nevertheless,
right.
What's up, friends? Listen, we're here to talk about the things. You know, we're in this series where we're talking about, you know, what leadership looks like as a single person, and ways that we've kind of had to unlearn some of these ideas that kind of like really box you in as a single person who is like continuing to grow in leadership and in influence and in impact, right? Like, America's really made for family. It is really built around the idea that success exists within a familial unit.
Yeah.
So when you are, but there's also this idea of achieve the dream, right? Go after pursuit of happiness, right? So there's the single pursuit of achievement that's supposed to exist within these family units. So when you are a single person that is pushing and achieving and impacting and influencing, that looks different, and it comes with different challenges that I think we have to unpack. That's also a millennial term that we took and ran with this idea of unpacking something. Oh, we said yes, that is the one.
That's ours.
Okay, you want to be deep? Let's unpack that.
We're gonna unpack this, guys. But I do think that you really did frame that very well with this idea of this American, like America exists in this dichotomy of family first and achieve, right? And sometimes a lot of times those things don't mix well. And so when you don't have the family part, you know, yet or at all, whatever it is, then it's almost as if the other option for you is to achieve. And so we do that, right?
Whoa.
And
wait a minute. That's good. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, that's what we do.
Hey, you got to fill your time with something.
You got to do something.
You don't have, you know, a husband and children. You ain't got nothing else to do. Yeah.
Right.
You know, like,
right. Yeah. And so that's what we do. And I think that a lot of us who, you know, get into the marriage and family game later, do spend so much energy on the achievement side that we forget who we are.
No, not only do we forget who we are, we forget to pursue ourselves.
We might not even really know who we are.
Yeah,
We
like
may
there's
not have ever
no
figured it out.
yeah, we don't pursue, and not just pursue like a sense of identity and our purpose, which we're gonna talk about in a little bit.
Mhm.
But even like pursuing like wellness
Yeah,
and
correct.
goodness for yourself.
For yourself.
For yourself, like you're constantly, the thing about it is that, especially, I'm a woman, so I can speak mostly from the perspective of a woman, but as a single woman that doesn't have husband or family, like there is this constant need in myself to take care of everybody else,
Mhm.
to take care of things, and so I have little pockets of groups and projects and things that
Mm,
I mother,
mm,
and
mm.
that I have become a spouse to, right?
Yeah.
There are things that are sitting in places and positions that are like, hey, I have all of this to give, and it's
Mm.
gonna land somewhere. And
Yeah.
so whatever I get my hands on, whatever I feel has been assigned to me, I am going to take care of it.
Yeah.
Right? These young adults that find themselves in my space, come. There's room. There's room in the end.
Yeah.
All right. Come all of you, and
Yeah.
be taken care of, and so, but you get to a point where you realize I have built some false structures
Mm.
and some
Yeah.
things, and the people that, when you have family, when you are a person that is married and you have children, those are things that stay with you and you begin to
Mm.
grow with them.
Right.
When you are a single person that has mothered projects or mothered people who come into
Mm.
your life, those people grow
Yeah.
and they become like, you're still connected to them, but not in the same way. And
No.
so you then have to figure out who you are again. You
Well,
have to start
yeah.
pursuing yourself again.
Well, that's so interesting because I actually think this is also a very, a lot of what we're talking about is like why it's so important to learn how to do these things before you are attached to other people and, to attach
Mhm.
to a spouse, children, because even what you just said, that happens in relationship, that happens
Yeah.
with family, right? It happens with children in particular, where, mothers, I mean, I think you made a perfect example. You raise your kids, they go off, and then you have to find yourself again. Like that's such a
Yes.
narrative, right? For so many moms. Um, um, Particularly mothers, less honestly for fathers that I hear, and more for mothers who are like, my life was about my kids. Like I didn't,
Mhm.
and so when they're gone, you have to relearn yourself and often relearn your husband. And so I think that those those elements again, it's an opportunity in your single world to learn how to do that, right? Like what
Yeah.
does it look like to come back into yourself after seasons shift, after
Oof.
projects shift,
Yeah.
after people leave, right? Like how do I do that? And even more so, how do I not make something my whole world? How do I not do that? Because I've got to find I have to know that the only thing the only relationship that is going to last outside of my spouse on this earth is between you and the
The
Lord.
Holy Spirit. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just the truth.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so even with your spouse, I mean that mirrors, it's a mirror to the relationship you have with God.
For
And
sure.
so there is not another relationship that is going to be a forever relationship. So
Mm.
whether that's relationship with your work, with anybody you mentor, with your service, right? All of that goes. It shifts, it changes, it goes away, it does all that, and we get so attached that we don't know how to manage when it's not there, and we don't know who we are without it, and it really
Mm.
hampers us, and it's hard to move forward. I mean, I mean, I know I've experienced that. Have you experienced that, like, personally?
Girl, yeah. I Ruth and I were talking earlier about, the one of the differences I've noted between this young adult self and this middle
Mhm.
adult self is that the ideas around purpose have shifted. You know, I remember when I graduated divinity school in 2012. And you know, I went to divinity school and I focused a lot of my time on pastoral care, chaplaincy, you know, just all of these ways that serve young adults, honestly. And so when I came looking for jobs afterwards, all of the chaplaincy jobs were like full. And, you know, I really didn't feel like I could find my place. And I felt aimless for a while.
Mm,
And I spent the
mm.
majority of my late 20s, early 30s just trying to find my spot. You
Yeah.
know, trying out different things, you know, putting my toe here, doing a little bit there, failing at some things and then being really good at some things, and really finally feeling like I got to a spot where I was like, this is it. You know, the
Yeah.
student life, student activities, campus life world, I was like, this is it. I am here to help young adults find their sense of belonging and to understand themselves in community with other people.
Mm.
Right. Like I like framed myself like that. You
Right,
know,
right, right.
that's how I framed my motivational speaking. That's how I framed even in my like initial sermon. That's how I framed my understanding of me as a minister. Like I am here to help people understand themselves and understand
Mm.
identity and move forward and push forward.
Yeah.
Right. Then I made this last career move when I was 30, I was 37, about to
Yeah.
be 38, right? And so I made this last career move and now I'm like, and I'm in an academic space. I spend a lot of time behind a desk. I get glimpses and glimmers and shimmers of interaction and, you know, building up and mentorship. Like I get
Yeah.
a little bit of that, but it's nowhere at the level that it was. And I
Yeah.
had to sit back and be like, so who am I now?
Yeah.
Right? And also this job does not have the position in my life that jobs before have had.
Mm.
Like I don't come to work and be like, this is where the real Jaquita is. She's here in this place. You know, like
Yeah.
I come to work and I'm like, I'm here to fulfill the work
Right,
I'm
right,
supposed to
right.
do. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying?
yep.
Like I have a purpose here, but it's not my purpose. Like
Mm.
it's not the totality of who I am. And so I feel like just recently I've had to make this shift from feeling like my job is what fulfills me.
Mm. Whew, man, that is, and I think I've shared this before, but I had this epiphany, I think a couple of years ago, where I know I have, but it was such a pivotal moment for me. Um, in that I just the idea of purpose lived outside of what I do, and that was just not something I could not even conceptualize it. Um, before. I couldn't there's no way I tried, right? I tried to see it outside of what I did, but I couldn't do it. And it wasn't until I read Stephen Covey's book First Things First that
I
it
love Stephen
really
Covey.
it was made very plain. It's who you are, and then I have to ask myself the question, okay, well, who am I? And the way they broke it down is, well, you're a lot of things. You're the roles that you have in life are real, right? So at the time, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a leader, I'm a friend, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a mentor, I'm all these things. So the question is,
Mhm.
how does all of that live? And when I can begin to see myself in all of those roles that I play and they're all valuable, then me as a leader does not get inflated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that something that has to shift when we think about this idea of, you know, shifting from this mindset of my work or my ambition or my accomplishments is what makes me valuable, right? You really, even in our relationship with God, like you have to shift from this understanding of the Lord just wants to use me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like he just wants,
Yes.
I am,
Yes. Oh,
I'm a
I'm
servant,
a
and
vessel. Right. Right.
I'm a
Right.
vessel, and when he needs me, he pulls me. He's
Yeah,
like, hey,
send
pull
me,
up
Lord. I'll
Jaquita.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like, hey,
Yeah.
pull up Jaquita. She can do the
Right.
work.
Yeah.
Send her out there, and
Right.
when she's done, great.
Yeah.
Thanks for your
We'll
service.
call you. We'll call you when we need
We'll
you
call you.
again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we'll have our people call your people.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
Spirit will check in when it's
Right.
time for you to go again.
Right.
Like you really, like I feel like there's this fine line that we tread where we are constantly like trying to be the most used
Yeah.
person. Like, hey,
Yeah.
listen, Lord, I'm available.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I got, I'm
Eh,
giving it to you.
It's yours. Right.
Yes, yes, and
And yes, and yeah,
yes,
yes.
and yes, I'm available. Yes, I'm a servant, but I'm also a daughter.
Yes.
I'm also a person and not a tool.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
get what
right.
I'm saying? I'm not a service.
Yes.
The Lord doesn't look at me and be like, all right, go to the about me section and see if Jaquita has the capacity to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I was recently just spending time with the Lord, and in my mind, I am just like, I got a list that is like 20 miles long. And I'm like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do that, I gotta do that. And I'm just sitting here like, I just got to trust God with all of it. I got to give him all of these things. And the Lord is like, I just want you. I just want you.
Yeah.
And he is not looking for your understanding of self within the things that you do. He's looking for you to just bring you
Yeah.
and to find and working from the peace and the contentment that you get from being his child,
Mm-hmm.
and using that as your center and then radiating that out to everything else that you do, versus well, I'm good at this, I'm good at that, people call on me for this, people call on me for that, and so I'm just going to go wherever the people call.
Mm.
And I think that burnout is a trick that the enemy uses when we are trying to feel that sense of fulfillment
Yeah.
and purpose and acceptance,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you get to a point where you have been spinning so hard that, if you are in a car and you start spinning your wheels long enough, you're going to start digging yourself into a ditch.
Yeah. Mm.
And so I think that's what burnout looks like. It looks like
Yeah.
we spin and spin and spin and spin and spin. And then we look up and we say, how did I get down
How did I
here?
get here? Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
How
I
did I get here?
I think your point about being a child, um, that's been a concept that God has been reminding me of a lot lately. And that is, I think about, my kid, he's 10, and there are just things he expects me to do, right? He just expects me to do it. Like, and sometimes he'll ask, and sometimes he just waits. Like, and I, and it's like, it doesn't matter how I feel. It doesn't matter if I'm tired. It doesn't matter if I'm busy. It doesn't matter if I've got other things obligated. It doesn't matter. There are things he just expects me to do.
Yeah.
And I think that we, especially as leaders, we lose that with God a lot of times because we are living in this we're living in this space where for other people they just expect us to do.
Mm.
And so we're constantly doing. And so it has become what people they expect you to take the next project. They expect you to take the call. They expect you to go and see the people. They expect you to take the raise. They expect you to take the promotion. They expect that. And it's come to that. And it's hard for us to get out of that and 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 not live in other people's expectations because of the a season of life we're in.
Can I just have a moment to talk to my single middle adults?
Talk to him. Talk to him.
All right. I just want us to have an honest moment. What areas of your life, of your work, of your service have you built things to depend on you?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like in what ways did you build structures where you have so availed yourself and so given yourself to that thing, that organization, that cause, that purpose, that now that thing has become dependent on your ultimate sacrifice.
Mm.
And they've come to expect it.
Yeah.
And you, knowing you're burnt out, knowing you can't really give anymore, don't have a way out of that. Because I think what happens a lot of times, especially when you're single, I remember when I worked in one of my previous roles, I had the most wonderful administrative assistant. She was more than an admin. She was, everyone knows, I tell people Pam is one of my favorite people. She was in my favorites on my phone. I had her pinned in my messages. Like I was like, if I don't need anybody else, I need Pam, because Pam was amazing, absolutely fabulous, and I love her to this day. Like, still love her. And I remember, but at 4:30 every day,
What you Pam
Pam,
said.
Pam, all right, sweetheart. Okay, and Pam had her things and she was gone. And I was staying there, like me and the students. I would be there till 7:30, 8:30. I mean, it's completely dark outside. There's no more cars in the parking lot. And I'm there. And that's honestly how I became closer with my students. Because they was like, hey, you here, we here.
Right.
And I'm there working, they're there cutting up. And I'm just like, because in my mind, the success of the program depended on me overworking. It depended on me being there when no one else was there. Right. And I built that program with a dependency on me sacrificing. What would it look like if we built things with a dependency on the strengths of the entire group and not on the sacrifice of the one single middle adult?
That's good, man. That's so good. That's so good. I think that's
Because you would approach it with a different mindset.
Yes.
You would delegate in a way that says, this part of the organization is dependent on you. Because everything can't depend on me.
Yeah.
And I remember Pam looked at me one day and said, Jaquita, I want you to have, she said, I love going home to my husband. I love my husband. I want you to have that. I want you to have something that you love going home to. And it made me look at going home differently.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what I need to go home
for? Right.
Ain't nobody there.
Yeah.
But
real.
the dishes I left in the sink this morning,
right.
That's what's waiting for me at home.
Yeah.
There's no hot dinner ready to come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's nothing. The same thing that's in this office right now is the same thing that's waiting on me at home. Me. You know what I'm saying? And so, but that challenged me. And at the time, I didn't receive that challenge. At the time when she said that, I heard, dang, everyone else can see it. Dang, everyone knows. Quita ain't really got no reason to go home. Like they know it. But now in these middle adult years, these older middle adult years, I started saying to myself, Jaquita, make home a place that you want to be. That's regardless.
Good. Yeah.
Like, we're not waiting on someone else to fit into this equation. Make your home worth the drive.
Yeah.
Worth the leaving work. Worth the leaving stuff undone. Make home worth that. And so, and I've really done that. Like I'm like, I've made my home a place I love coming to.
I think that's a really great example of how to move toward um re- how to move toward broadening the definition of who you are. Is That's a really good place to start, is make home something you want to go to. Like, do
Man.
what you need to do that. And I really do. I think that's a beautiful way to do it. I would say that something else that's so important is to think about all the like outside of your job, what are the roles in your life? And the way you figure that out is, who are the people in your life? Like, and then how am I doing in those other roles? So,
Mm.
how am I doing as a daughter? How am I doing as a friend? How am I doing as a sister or a brother? How am I
Mm.
doing, as a mentor? How am I doing as a coach? Whatever you do, right? Outside of
Yeah,
your leadership role, outside of your job, outside of what gives you a paycheck,
that's good.
what are the other things who are you to other
Mhm.
people, and how are you doing?
Yeah.
Because, and ask yourself that. And then, if you're not doing so well in those areas, put some energy into those things. Like, it's easy to say, I'm not going home to anything. Yeah, but there are people in your life
Mhm.
that you do have value to. So it's like,
Yeah,
maybe they're not physically at home, but make time and space for them in the way that you might make time and space for somebody who is at home,
yeah,
right? And so,
yeah.
because that's something that you have to do, right? So I think, again, practicing it now while you're single will help you transition, when or if that a family of your own, a spouse or children, is a part of your story, because it's a shift that has to be made. And so, I know in my experience, again, these were shifts that I didn't do very well before. And when I was thrown, I won't say thrown. When I got into it, right? Um, it was something I had to unlearn a lot of stuff about myself. And I had to,
When you say thrown into it, what do you mean?
well, I shouldn't have said thrown into it. But when I began the journey of being a wife and a mother,
Okay.
um, there were a lot of things I had to unlearn really quickly, that if I had these conversations with myself that we're having right now,
Mhm.
I don't know that I would have had to be as, intense with it, because I felt like I just had to go into this intense, like, okay, I figure some things out. Um,
Yeah.
and it wasn't easy. It's still not sometimes. Like, it's not easy, but I think, if you figure out who you are to other people, what are the roles that you play in their life? How are you doing with those roles? Um,
Mhm.
I'll say one more thing, and then but I think the other thing is, Quita and I were talking about this the other day, is evaluate what your current priorities are. Um, you know,
Listen.
you know, Quita was, we were talking. Quita has 6 particular priorities she's working on. I have 3, right? That were given both of us by God in prayer. Like, it's like, hey, this is what I want you to focus on. Cool.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're doing. And when you know the things that you are designed to focus on, again, you know, it's not just the job. It's not just the leadership position. It is whatever the other roles are. Like, what are those priorities? You can say no with a lot more clarity and a lot more confidence.
Let me tell you something. I had to repent just
Mm,
the other day,
mm,
because I found myself, it was late at night. I had been doing a lot of things that were not on my priority list
mm,
because I gave too many yeses.
my Lord.
It was
My
too many yeses,
Ooh,
and I was sitting there, and 5 hours had gone by with
mm,
something that was not on my priority list,
wow.
and I thought about the things that I did not get accomplished
Wow.
because I gave this 5 hours to something that wasn't supposed to be mine to do.
Wow. That's Man, how often do
And
we
there's no
do
worse
that,
feeling.
bro?
When you ain't got a
Yes.
lot of time, let me tell you something. And you're just sitting there and you're just watching as the time that you're sacrificing.
Yeah.
You're watching and you're like, this was not a good use of my time.
Yep. Yep.
Because it's not on my priority list.
Man,
And
that's so
I
good.
also think it's different because in my 20s, my priority list was I go to work, I go to church, and I have a few mentees, and I used to think, man, I am busy.
I am
Okay.
swamped.
I am
Just
swamped.
man.
Now I'm looking literally, I tell you no lie. And Ruth Abigail may think this is a stretch, but it is my honest truth. Just yesterday, I was driving to church. I had the day before I'd helped to run a workshop, and then I went home, did not get the rest I needed. I'm driving to church. I'm late because I'm supposed to be teaching Sunday school, and I'm already late. I'm on the phone with my mentee, waking her up so that she can go to church because she works a third shift, and I'm just driving, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm already thinking about the work that I didn't do this weekend that I was supposed to do. And I'm just driving. A police officer,
My Lord,
is behind me. He doesn't even turn on his light. He just does the beep, beep, like they do the little alarm thing where they do the whoop, whoop, like pull over real quick, And so I'm just like, and I was calm. I just told my mentee, hey, I'm getting pulled over. I'm gonna call you back. Like, I was completely calm because I'm like, I'm already like kind of numb, there's so much going on. And I pulled over. He pulled beside me. Imagine this happening. He pulled beside me and said, roll down the window. And I rolled down the window. He said, hey, you're just going just a little too fast. You're going 55 into 35. Just slow it down. You're just going just a little too fast. Okay? All right. And he rode off into the sunset. Now, you got to know, there are some people who have an anointing on their life to get out of tickets. Our friend Janae, she's one of them. I've been on the phone with her as she has gotten out of many. I have never. Okay, they don't ever let me go. They be like, excuse me, black woman, you getting this ticket today. I mean, I have full-blown ugly cried. And the police officer looked sad about it. He's like, yeah. Anyways, man, want to give you this. If your court date's right there, the only time I have gotten out a ticket before is the police officer came up to the window and said, excuse me, ma'am. He said, you would have had a ticket. It would have been $400, but my printer jammed. That's the only time, like, God himself had to step down and intervene. Okay. I do not have the get out of a ticket anointing.
Hilarious.
Right. But in that moment, I was just like, wow, what a nice man. But later on, somebody told me, I really think that was the Lord trying to talk to you and saying, hey, you're going too fast. You're going 55 into 35. Slow down. Maintain your relationship with me. Maintain your worship. Maintain the center. Hold the center.
Yeah.
And the center is you finding peace and contentment in me and then doing all of these things. Because it is easy when you have a priority list, because on my priority list, I wrote the 6 things down. Like I was writing and I was like, oh Lord, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I'm in this PhD program, I gotta do this and that, the podcast, da 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 da. And then I remember looking at the list, and even though it said church is not worship. Church is not relationship with God. Right? I had church on there and all the things I have to do for church. But then, so what I did was I had all the priorities, and I did that little, that little squiggle line we learned where you and you take all of these together and you pull them, and then I put God.
Yeah.
He's a part of all of this.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
But seriously though, if you are not holding your center, you're not going to hold all of the lines that you're trying to maintain.
So I wanna talk about this 55 to 35, 55 and a 35. I don't know. When you said that, it just because there are seasons in your life where you need to go 55. And then there are seasons when you don't. And sometimes I think in our single season, we feel like we need to go 55 all the time because if I slow down, I'm going to get bored or I'm going to get, I'm
Ooh.
going to feel things I may not want to feel.
Them feelings gonna catch up with
They
you.
going to catch up, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm going to get left behind, right?
Yeah.
And I think that we really have to determine what speed limit is my life in right now. What is it
Whoa.
really in? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What is it
Mm-hmm.
really in?
Mm.
And if you are in a 35-mile-an-hour season, slow down, bruh. Slow down.
Listen,
It's okay.
it's not. Here's the thing. When you're driving, you don't determine the speed limit.
Come on, talk about it because
You
somebody
know
has
what I'm saying?
predetermined that for you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it is
Absolutely.
already set.
It's already set.
So if you're
That's so
going down
good.
the road and it says it's 35, you don't get to say, but I got so much to do.
That's right.
But I'm late.
Nope.
But I gotta get there fast.
Yep.
No, the
Nope.
speed limit is take
35.
it low and slow through here.
35.
Because you're gonna miss something. And I think producer Joy, love producer Joy. She said something a while ago that was it has stuck with me.
Mm.
It has really stuck with me when she talked about how God will make you lie down in green pastures. And I think we miss that make. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. We just think, oh man, ain't that great? The Lord's our shepherd. He has some green pastures for us. Okay?
Yeah.
But you speeding through them.
Yeah, that's real.
You know what I'm saying? You're trying to skip past what God is actually trying to say and give you in this moment.
Yeah.
Because the productivity is in it. The things that you do and produce, that's not the things that God is looking for.
Yeah.
And we don't get revelation from running. We get revelation in the lying down.
Yes, absolutely.
We get it by the still waters. Right? That's where he's feeding you and strengthening you. He's saying, hey, you have a journey up ahead. And I think as a single middle adult, I want to talk. I really want to talk to y'all. Ruth Abigail can talk to you too, but she got married, so she gonna try to act like she still knows and understands. Show him your ring. Show him your ring. Go ahead and show it to them.
They've seen my
She
ring.
gonna try to act like she's still with the people. Okay, but I'm really with the people. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm here for real with you. Okay, and I know we got some wonderful married people here too, and y'all fall sit over there with Ruth Abigail for a moment.
Wow.
All right? We love y'all.
Wow.
We love you. We love you.
That's amazing.
Okay, don't you ever forget it. But I think that we get so caught up because we don't know when this highly anticipated moment is coming. We try to make this moment as grand as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And so you're making it a 55 zone because you're like, I got to show everybody and I got to show myself that I'm in a great spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
going. I'm moving. Yeah.
Listen, I'm going. I'm moving. Do y'all all see this? Like, look at me. Okay. I'm doing the things. Let me introduce you to my 15 mentees.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me introduce you to my impact.
Yeah.
Let me introduce you to all of the great things I've been doing and all of the ways that I found purpose. Because you feel like it's not even that you feel like, that people are looking like, so, like, what's the holdup?
Right.
When's it coming?
Man.
Surely God,
Yeah.
you look like, what I get told a lot. you look like a wife. Okay, it's on you.
Uh-huh.
It's on you.
Oh
It's in
man.
you. Not to mention my mom got any prospects. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Even my grandmama like, all right, baby. I mean, you
Uh-huh.
know, the
Uh-huh.
only person on my side right now is my granddaddy. My granddaddy, like, you take your time, baby. It's all right. But you know that you're not the only one questioning
Yeah.
where this other half of your life is.
Yeah. Man.
Where's this peace? When are we gonna flip to the next chapter? I
Mm.
feel like I've been turning the page.
Yeah.
I turned the page. I got my finances right. I got my body right. I got my life right. Like, I've been turning pages, but
Mm.
we still in the same chapter. Why this
Mm-hmm.
chapter so long?
Mm.
Okay, when did the single chapter become 123 pages? Okay, I've been
Yeah.
turning the page and I'm still right here. Okay, and I'm trying to figure out, when does the season of my life change,
Yeah.
right? And it is easy. It is an easy cop out to just throw all of you into that workspace
Mm.
and to take that 55 and go zoom, you
Yes.
know, to get on a freeway and say, I'm just gonna ride this career thing on out.
Yep.
I'm just
Yep.
gonna make this work, make it happen, and
Yeah.
keep pushing.
Yeah.
You
Because
know,
no, go ahead. Finish.
I
You-
was just gonna say, because it's easier to do that than to keep believing that you have a moment up ahead.
They and that's what I was, the attempt at filling a void until the void is filled. And it's like it's that it's got to be filled at some point, right? So
Mhm.
we don't, which it doesn't. And I think not in that way, right? And so there's a podcast with the Perrys. They did this episode a while back, where it's talking about dating in your 30s, and it's really good. um I'm not gonna quote it exactly. I wish I could remember exactly what they said, but somebody just made the point that there's a reality to uh marriage is not a promise from God. It's a gift from God. And
Mm.
so we oftentimes hold God to things that he never promised. So so we put people in positions, particularly in the church, that make it feel like, if I just do XYZ, then this is coming. And it's like, that's not a promise from God. That's not part of his promise package.
Mm.
Um and so, but it is a gift. And that's and
I don't like the gift language. I mean, I get it, but then it's like, this is the gift that somebody else got, but not you. Like,
but the thing is, I get it. And I want to tread lightly, because I don't want to sit here in this, you know, marriage position and sound away. Okay. I I realize I'm getting
I'm
into
honestly
hot
not
water
in that space.
territory.
I'm not in that
I
space.
know you're not, but other people might be. So I want to be clear.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not. I understand. But I think that there is the other thing that they said, and one of the things that somebody said was, marriage is a gift, but marriage really does make things harder. Like, it's not easier, right? And the things that we are itching for, if we're honest, when we're single, the things that we're itching for about marriage are about 20% of what marriage really is. And so you realize that when you get married. And so it's like, um those are that's the reality. God's promise is for him. God's promise is God. And we sometimes, I think that we diminish the beauty of that, right? Like, God says, my promise is me. Is that not, I mean, is that not enough? And it's
Mm.
and so I think that we have to be honest and say, for most of us, and myself included, if I'm honest, being in my single space, I don't think God was enough. And I think also my career was what I needed to add to God to feel like it was enough, right? And
Yeah.
so then it's like, if I'm not careful, I will just keep adding stuff to
Yeah.
God, right? I'll just keep adding stuff. So I'm gonna add my husband, I'm gonna add children, I'm gonna add, the things we build together, like the life that we build. Okay, is that enough? Probably not. So I'm gonna add something else. When we don't see God as
Oh, this
enough,
is so good. Yeah.
then all we do is just keep adding stuff. We just keep adding, and it's never enough. And God is
Yeah.
over here being like, I've always been enough. I'm going to
Yeah.
continue to be enough, even when you're married. Because
Mm,
just because you get married does not mean you're complete. And so you're only complete in God, and God doesn't need anything else added to him to make you complete. So
Yeah.
I think that that's the kind of language that, if you're a Jesus follower, that we have to lean into in the single season, and be honest to say, I don't know about y'all, but really, like, I I don't believe that for a long time, I didn't believe God was enough. I felt like I needed more. And for me, my career was more. So I went after it,
Wow.
right? And so I'm grateful that that is not where my mindset is now, but I had to work through that. And I
Yeah.
had to be honest about that, because I did get burned out. And I
Yeah.
did just, like, I can't anymore. Like, I'm done, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that is that's very key. Psalm 23 says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." Just because he's my shepherd, I don't have any does I won't want for anything. Not
Mm.
because of anything else other than he's my shepherd.
Let me tell you what will change the lives of many middle adults. That moment that you get to where you realize, I don't have it. I don't have the strength. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the capacity. I don't have it. And yet here it is, still needing to be done. I have spent the last 10, 12, 15 years making my career, my ambitions, my abilities, my skill set the premier part of me. Right?
Yes.
I've spent all this time, right, building up this monument of, look at me. All right, I'm good enough. All
Mhm.
right, I contribute. Right, my life is meaningful. I spent all this time building it up, and now it has gotten to be more than what I can actually handle.
Yeah. Mm.
And that is the moment. And I do believe every middle adult will hit this moment
Mhm.
where it is the Lord, if you don't do it, it won't get
It
done.
won't get
And
done.
not in that little superficial way, where
No,
you're just
literally.
like, Lord, if you don't do it, through me, you know.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like,
Right, 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 right,
you
right,
know,
right.
like
For
Lord, if
real.
you don't do it, using, I'm good for it. If you could just throw a little razzle dazzle on it, then
Uh-huh.
it'd be great. But
Yeah.
I can
I
do it.
got it. You know what I'm
I
saying? I
got
got
it.
it.
You know what I'm saying? I just need you to be there.
Yeah.
Show up,
Yeah.
just in case people feel like
Yeah.
I'm not enough, even though we both know I am. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about that. I'm talking about that moment where you are literally, I give y'all an example. Just recently, I was hosting this orientation program. Ruth and Joy will both tell you I was at work till like 11:30 at night, stressed, anxious. It was way more than what my capacity was. The night before, I was sitting there. I couldn't even really go to sleep because my body was starting to shut down, one. And two, I was thinking about everything that still needed to be done that I had not done. And I knew that if the Lord did not step in front of the college president, the dean of the graduate school,
Yep.
the associate deans, and all the dean of students, every almost all the big name people of the university in this one little room where I'm running the show, it could all fall to pieces. And it could just be one little thing could have
Yeah.
just fell apart and then the whole thing. And
Yep.
I knew I was going in with limited help and with no capacity.
Yeah.
My body was already like, girl, when you get home tonight, don't ask me for nothing. Right. And I was just like, if the Lord don't show up. And as I was driving to this large event at 7 o'clock in the morning, all I kept saying to myself was, my strength is made perfect in your weakness.
Mm.
Because nothing about me in this moment is good enough to do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And it was honestly one of the best events I've hosted.
Yeah.
But it was because the Lord showed up in ways that I could not have anticipated. When you get to those moments, you realize, you know what, life is about more than what I'm doing or what I accomplish or what I produce.
That's right.
Right. And it pushes you to say, okay, Lord, I have pigeonholed you, and now I would like to reopen some of these doors I had closed.
Mm.
I'd like to invite you back in
Yeah.
to father me.
Mm.
I want to be fathered. I
Yeah.
want to be a daughter again.
That's
You
no,
know?
seriously. Seriously, I want to be a child. Like I don't.
Yeah, I want to be. Boy, when he said, "Come to me like little children."
Hey man, that's so hard as a leader. You think about like leader you as a child. How do you operate as a leader and a child at the same time? That's hard.
Child.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
And so especially in again being in your single season when it is just you. So as the leader, it's you and you're like, I got to hold it. I have to do it. I have to be it. And God is saying, you're a child. I need you to come to me as a child. Look, I think that is if that is something that we can lean into, like find your like silence the leader for a minute and let the
Mm,
child speak, right?
yeah.
Let the child speak. Even when you pray, don't pray as a leader, pray as a child,
Wait
you
a
know?
minute. Wait a minute. Expound.
Like, you know, when we pray, pray like a child would pray. Like don't try to be intellectual. Don't try to make sense all the time. Don't try to say what you think God wants you to what you think God wants to hear. Pray like a child who doesn't have any inhibitions for what he or she asks for. They're just going to ask. And they're not thinking about whether it's feasible or not. They're not thinking about the details. They're not thinking about any of that. They just saying, God, I want this. God,
Yeah.
I need this. God, asking God
Can I have some
questions.
Roblox?
Yeah, seriously. Like for real. I mean, my son he just made a deal with me. He was like, he's just striking deals. Striking deal for. He said, well, if you like anyway, it's this whole thing, but he's basically like, if you want me to do something earlier, then basically I can get my toy earlier. I said, well, I don't need it earlier. I'm cool. He said, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I'm good. Like, so it's but that's his thing. He has no inhibition from doing that. Like he is willing to do it. He's willing to risk it. Like, we'll see what she
Yeah.
says.
We're gonna be willing to risk it with the Lord.
We don't, but that's
Yeah.
what children do. They don't think about
Yeah.
stuff like that. They don't care. And
Mm,
part of it is the safety of your father. Like, I'm not worried about saying crazy things or
yeah.
asking for crazy things or
That he's gonna leave me
that
or
he's going to leave me,
forsake
that
me.
yeah, or that he's going to think I'm dumb, or be tired, get tired of me, or require more of me, or like, hey, why don't you explain this stuff to me, like break that down, unpack that. Hey, God is not going to do all of that, right?
The
he's
Lord
he's
is
not
not asking you to unpack it.
he's not asking you for that. He just wants you to come to him. And I think we
Yeah.
gotta come to God as children, not leaders. And I'm not sure we do that often. I don't. I don't think I do.
I know that I probably don't. I think for me, a lot of my prayer is like me just sitting there in silence. Like I don't even know the words to say. I've been trying to
Yeah.
find words for everyone else all day
See,
and just feeling the comfort in not having to say anything,
that's real.
like
That's beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, and I think you have to know, one of the things I heard at a church that I went to with a friend, and I think we were all there. It was we went to church with our friend Ashley, and it was a great service. They gave us t-shirts.
Oh Lord,
Um,
you and this t-shirt service, boy. You've been talking about that
Man,
forever.
let me tell you
Look,
something. That's one of my favorite t-shirts. It's a gray shirt with orange letters. Like we were like, man, this church is awesome.
hilarious.
They gave us t-shirts. And I still remember the message that pastor preached. He talked about pursuing peace.
Mm,
And it has always stuck with me because I know that when I feel peace, that I have found God.
mm,
That I have found the place, the position, the posture. I have found exactly where God intended for me to be.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my green pasture.
Mm,
Like when I'm in a place where I'm at peace,
mm,
even if I feel like I got a lot to do, I feel like I might, I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna get from point A to point B. I don't know how this is gonna get done. I don't know how that gonna get done. But if I feel peace, I'm in the pasture.
mm,
I'm in the place that God has appointed for me to be in for this moment.
yeah.
And I have learned as we are in this place where we are having to figure ourselves out outside of the life that we've built for ourselves, because you get to a point where you're like, all right, well, the life that I built for myself, I didn't realize that it had a capacity that
Mm,
I'm about to outgrow it.
yeah.
Like, like when I moved into my new house, and because I thought I was gonna miss my old house so much, and I loved that old house.
Mm,
It was amazing. But like I'm like I outgrew it.
yeah.
Like it doesn't fit where I am right now and what I need right now. Right. But I get to trust God. There's an excitement because I get to trust God with my new thing and with my
Mm,
new place and with my new position, because I've been pursuing that.
yeah.
I've been pursuing something new and not just what I built. And we
Mm,
have to get out of the mindset of I have to continue to build and form and create for myself
mm,
what life is going to look like. And the Lord is like, or you could find some peace with sitting with me for a minute while I unveil what I've already done for you. Like he's
yeah.
already done it.
That's
You
right.
don't have to do it.
Yeah.
God has already done it and he just wants to reveal it to you. And when we get into a posture like a child where we say, Lord, will you reveal what's on the next page in the next chapter for me?
Mm,
Will you lead me into it? Will you usher me into the next season instead of me running aimlessly
mm,
trying to get to it? Will you usher me into it? You
yeah.
will find that God leads from a sense of peace, and he leads by leading you from grace to grace
Mm,
and from glory to glory and
yeah.
from faith to faith. And you will find that you will grow into the next season versus running into it.
I, yeah. I love that. I think that I don't know. This child thing is just hitting right now. It's so I don't know if you've been around 2 or 3 year olds lately. But I have a 4 year old nephew, and little kids like that will just, especially like 2 years old, when they start to walk, they'll just pick something up and drop it in your lap. They'll just pick it up and just like, here. You have no idea why. Why?
Yeah.
Why do I have this? Like,
Yeah.
and
What
they'll
was
just
you thinking about
they're
this?
just gonna hand you. They just hand you stuff. It's for no
Hmm.
apparent reason. And I think that that is a really beautiful. It's a beautiful way to look at the relationship with God. Like when we're children, we when children just they find stuff and they go take it to their parent. They just go find it and take it to them. Here, 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 here. Like and you have a
Oh,
handful of stuff And they just gave it to you. And you're like, "What?" Like, we as human parents are like, "Why are you giving this to me?" But God doesn't ask why. He knows what to do with it, right? And when we just go and hand him stuff, no context, no explanation. Here, 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 here. Stuff that we picked up and grabbed and found. Here, here, here. And he knows what to do with it. And I think that that is the posture of a child that's missing in
Mm.
our leadership, and those of us that are leaders. I think that is something that we can begin to operate as a child. Just hand God your stuff, like, and let him do with it what he knows to do with it. I think this there is, so that's one side of it. I think this other side is something that I've been embracing recently, and I've seen the fruit of it. Is this idea of shared leadership? We've talked about this before, I think, in other episodes, but it's just so important to involve. And you said it earlier, involve other people in your leadership,
Mhm.
because quite frankly, there is no, what you see in your mind cannot be accomplished just by you. It has to
Mhm.
be accomplished by other people, and it's it's you have to allow other people to take things that you can't, you not even that you can't manage, that you decide not to manage. You have them take it, and it will be better, and there is less of a burden on you to make things work. That you, once you give people, once you kind of like, hey, this is ours, right? I'm in the middle of a large project, right? A capital campaign for Angel Street. There's no, under no circumstances can I do it by myself.
Mm.
There's no way to do that, right? It's way too much. And half of this stuff, I don't even know what I'm doing, right? Building stuff, construction, all this stuff never raises this much money before. So I gotta, I need help, right? And so, but it's not, you don't want to ask for help from a place of desperation. You want to ask for help from a place of anticipation. Like, I anticipate
Mm.
this being more than what I can do, so I'm going to bring you in on the bottom floor. I know this is too much for me. Before I get into it, I know it's too much. I need you now. As
Yeah.
opposed to getting into it being too much and being desperate and grabbing people. Um, and I think it also allows for things to sustain, and for you to sustain, not just as the human doer, but the being, so that you can then focus your energy on other things other than that thing which is your accomplishment.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think it allows for us to be fully imagined people.
Mm,
Like when you are not so concentrated in this idea of purpose.
yes.
And I think that we have equated purpose to doing.
100%
Like
we have.
yeah,
Golly.
like my purpose is to, accomplish X, Y, and Z and to do this and that. And it's like when you were sent into the world, you were purposed.
Yeah.
So everything you do flows out of purpose.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to continue seeking it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
That's
know what I'm
good.
saying? You don't have to,
Absolutely.
you can literally pursue the Lord.
And you're
You
and
don't
you
have
and
to,
you're pursuing purpose by doing that.
yeah.
That's correct.
You can literally pursue peace. You can literally pursue wholeness. You can pursue uh life and life more abundantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're allowed to do that. And
Yeah.
abundant life doesn't just look like money.
Nope.
Abundant life looks like peace, looks like joy, looks like faith,
Community. That's right.
temperance,
Yeah.
goodness, meekness, you know,
Sure. All those.
fruit of the spirit.
Fruit of the spirit.
Fruit of the spirit. And I just think, final thought, don't compartmentalize your life. Don't overly focus on one area of your life because you're trying to avoid the others.
Mm,
Take a moment and really sit down with the Lord. And like Ruth Abigail said, give it to him. Because the things that you're holding are preventing you from receiving the things that he's holding.
that's correct. That's good, Quita. We're gonna stop it right there, folks. Yeah, I think we're gonna end it right there. Thank you once again for listening. We are enjoying having this very necessary conversation with y'all. And we would love for you, as always, to share this with somebody else. Do not keep it to yourself. Please like, share, and subscribe. The UnLearnT podcast. We've been rocking this thing with you for a while. We want to keep doing it. We want to grow the community, guys.
Gotta be a year. What are we? When was our year?
This would be 2. But I think this time, 2
years.
Around
about this time, yeah.
So
whoa.
Yeah, we're in here.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, we're in here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's been 2 years.
It's been 2 years since, it's been 2 years, 3. Wait a minute. 2022, 2023. So 3 years for the podcast as a whole would have been going at this point for about 3 years. So, yep.
Wow.
We in here. We in here. So yeah, y'all, we want to keep growing the community. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. And until next week, we're going to keep unlearning together so that we can experience more freedom. Peace.